Okay, it's the time for the big reveal. A lot of you probably would have guessed it's a Gray-Nicolls package, so it's a Gray-Nicolls bat that's in there. I know, really into my Grey Nicks, especially the last few years, they've absolutely been on it. The bat comes in this case. This is a pro player's bat, so this was made to the specs of one of Gray-Nicolls' players. Basically, we got to visit the factory recently. You might have seen some of the stories posted on Instagram of us being there, and got them to make up a bat for us. Basically looked at all the players' shapes, who was doing bats that we liked, you know, your Baba Azams, looking at Ollie Pope, Zach Crawley, all the ones that they'd done for them and their shapes and their templates. But obviously there's been a player that's absolutely smashing it at the moment in the ODIs for England. The last 2 innings he scored a ton. I think he scored 87 the other day. So yeah, really top player that plays for England. Might give away because he's got a yellow grip on there, although I know a lot of players like it. That player is... Harry Brook, and this is a Harry Brook spec bat that they've made for us, and we're going to be reviewing it today.
That is a lovely shot. That's 6.
So the first thing, before we even get to the bat, is actually the case. So I've seen these listed on eBay by Gray-Nicolls, and you can get custom lettering, sort of initials embroidered onto it. But I haven't actually seen this case available anywhere else. I haven't seen it sold through a retailer. So I'm a bit of a badger when it comes to cases, and so I thought I'd mention that. And also cool that it zips up all the way up to the top completely, which I kind of like because you can take it right up to where the handle is, so reduces the chance of rain and stuff getting in there. But yeah, that's just a little thing. But yeah, nice to see a case that I haven't seen before. So I'm going to bring in another bat. So this has been my match bat for the last couple of seasons. It was sort of, I'd say, like my backup bat that I've been using because the weather's been so poor and I didn't really want to risk any of the special ones. But for 2024, I did get it refurbed by Fix My Bat. A friend of mine, James, that's his company, and I send all my repairs to him to get done. So he refurbed it, and I was lucky enough to get some stickers from Gray-Nicolls, and I wanted them done in the Harry Brooks style. So the shape isn't Harry Brooks, but I tried to put the stickers in the same place. One thing that I've got which is more Harry Brook than this bat, and that is putting the handcrafted sticker which you see at the toe at the bottom normally. I put it on the front, which is where Harry puts it. I think it's because he has MLB, his sponsor, at the bottom there. So yeah, so that's the only thing that really makes it look like a Harry Brook bat. Otherwise it's probably completely different. But I thought I'd put them side by side and give you an idea really of what is different between a pro player's bat, and this is a retail bat. This is an Aussie made retail bat, but I'll use it as an example today. So probably the biggest thing I notice a lot of the time with the pros bats is the amount of wood that they put in the shoulder area here. And they can do that because they're generally using lighter pieces of wood, so they can actually fix more wood into this area here. But it also helps with balance because you're shifting more wood higher up towards your hands. The bat will pick up lighter, and that's always a big thing when you talk about pros bats. They always seem to pick up lighter, and for me that's because so much of the wood is put up into this higher area here, taking it away from low down. So that's one of the big things. The other thing is they also managed to make nice thick toes, which if you look at like GM Players editions, I love those bats, but the toes are generally super thin. When I look at a lot of the players' ones, you can get ones with thicker toes. More so with the case of some of the bats I've seen recently, and I'll go into that a bit later in the video. But yeah, that's sort of one of the big sort of telltale signs for me. Alex Hohenkirk, who is the head bat maker at Gray-Nicolls in the UK at Roberts Bridge, their HQ, made this one up for us to have a look at. And yeah, it's done to his specs. You know, I was even sort of studying. I've seen some of his bats before, but with professional players' bats, their bats sort of evolve over time. And if you look at his bats that he's using at the moment, they actually look, well, they look the same as this one, and that's why we had it made up. The big thing for me is around this area here. I'm seeing it on a lot of those SS bats, a lot of the Asian bats, and the Gray-Nicolls players are sort of no different with what they're going with. And it's a lot more duckbilling here, quite heavy. Probably the player that I've seen with the heaviest amount of duckbilling, and it is in a video that I've reviewed previously, is the Johnny Bairstow one. And his duckbilling, it really is flat, a lot further along. But you see on here, it's not always easy to see in some of the videos and the photos, but I try and give you a better angle there. But this area here, there's not really a lot of wood here. And I think that's very different between UK club players and professional players. Obviously lower bouncing, the types of bowlers who don't have much pace on them, or so the ball never really gets up. Pros aren't trying to strike it in that area. Change now that I'm seeing with more and more players where they're losing wood in this area. For me, it makes the shape look a bit funny and slightly off balance. But for the pros, that seems to be what they're going for. They're trying to push as much wood into that hitting area there. When I spoke to Davin Milan about it, he said that it's because they're not trying to hit this area. They're trying to hit this area here, so shifting more there. And that's all right for them. They're pros, they're better at doing it, whereas the rest of us will hit it here, we'll hit it there, we'll hit it everywhere. So maybe for a recreational cricketer, you might be looking more for a slightly different shape. Certainly for me, I probably wouldn't want as much duckbilling as I see, but this seems to be a trend with the pros bats, and I'm sure that trend will move into recreational cricket as well. But if you're looking for something that looks like a pros bat and basically is a pros bat, then this is it. A bit of a weird magic trick with the eyes actually when I look at it, because some of the photos I'm showing you that I've taken from it looks like it's almost scalloped and there's some concaving in it, but as you can see there, it is full, completely full. There is zero concaving on it. The single biggest thing I notice about when you pick up these pro bats is they just feel so much lighter, and it doesn't make sense when you look at the bat and how much wood there is on it. You're thinking this bat should weigh a lot more, and yet you're picking it up and you're thinking 2.8. I mean, I know on the scales this is sort of 210.5 plus bat, but picking it up, honestly, 2.8 is just, yeah, it does not feel any heavier than that. It is a beautiful piece of wood. We're talking about 10 pretty even straight grains, tiny blemish there, but having spoken to Alex and talked to players, they don't care about whether it's clean or not. I mean, this is a very clean, nice looking piece of wood, but somebody like Babar Azam, he's actually looking for watermarking in his wood or any kind of blemish that's there. Players, a lot of them are actually chasing that. You see that grey-blue sort of tinge. I'm really into bats which have that on there, and there are a lot of players that sort of chase after that as well. So it gets round towards the top, but there's definitely still some oval going on in this part here. But thick oval, again, helps with the balancing. Just really nice in the hands. So Gray-Nicolls now, if you get the ones that are made in the main factory, it will be tape down to here, well, tape all the way down, and then they put some binding at the bottom, and Gray-Nicolls have put some counterbalance in there already, so I'm assuming that's how they send it out to Harry. But I find the ones that are actually made in the UK now still at Robertsbridge, yeah, they do binding all the way, so another sort of indicator that you know it's a UK made one. Another big telltale sign, and one of the things I like to look for is if you see any in the shops which have the H stamp on there, that means Alex Hohenkirk, the head bat maker at Gray-Nicolls at Robertsbridge, that's one that he's done. And again, another thing that you sort of notice with those UK made ones, I find a bit fatter, even here, fat enough for him to put his stamp on easily. Handle as well, you know, in the modern era now where lots of people go into these thinner, floppy sort of handles, and you get a lot of pros who like thinner handles, and obviously they want to add tape to make it thicker and make it the shape they want. Obviously this was done to Brooks' spec exactly, so probably he doesn't need a second grip on here. It's definitely got more oval than I notice on a normal Gray-Nicolls. These days you're seeing a lot of these thin handles, and that's just a really good way for bat manufacturers to save weight. So when they go for thin, they're trying to save weight. Also creates a little bit more flex in the handle, but I like this. You know, for me, that's thick enough that I can just go single grip No need to double grip that, no need to do any taping underneath. It's got a really nice ovally shape on there. It's not even semi, it feels proper oval. And yeah, just super well balanced. And that, I think a huge part is to do with losing the weight in this area here. So you're pushing it higher, the weight is basically in this area there. And that's where you want to hit it. And I've got to say, it's super, super special bat. And of course, with the pro bats, you're getting just gun specs, you know, really big edges. I think these are sort of around a 39mm when I measured it up on the calipers. Spine height is around 66. Again, pushing the limits on the gauge. Really fat toe at the bottom that you can see there. Sort of, I think 26, 27 on the edge, and it's about 20, 28, 29 in the middle there. And then it's this huge amount of wood high up on the bat that you can see. That for me is sort of that standout quality of pro level bats, where, you know, here I think this might be the highest that I've had on a bat in recent times, where this is like 41, 42mm right at the top here, whereas generally you pick out something like an SS bat and it's going to be about 32, 33, some of them that I've seen, super thin up high, but this one's just got a huge amount of wood and it creates that balancing effect. And why we're shifting more wood, more weight into this area here when I pick up the bat, it really does feel that much lighter. Studying the other day the video when it was on Sky Sports, hopefully I can get some shots up to kind of show you stills of it. It is exactly like this. This is the one that I saw in the factory, this shape for him, and this is the bat that I'm seeing him using at the moment. Now, I have seen one or two retailers in the UK that have been selling what they called like players models. I think there was like a Harry Brook one, and for me that was just the stickers and the grip. So actually, shapes wise, when you talk about shapes, we're not talking about fullness, you know, it's about the middle position, what sort of shapes are crafted there. Whether you're getting a lower grade model or a higher grade model, whether you're getting one that's for the pros or one that they're buying for retail, the shapes actually I find are generally the same. It's more to do with the fullness of the bat, because obviously the lighter the piece of wood, the more wood you can keep on a bat, and so they don't have to scallop out, they don't have to concave the bats, they can hold more wood in the higher areas. So that's the real difference between them. They are basically the same bats, it's just to do with that density of willow. And of course, if you're a pro, you're expecting to get the lowest density. Lowest density doesn't always equal durability though. In a lot of cases, you know, I see now players are chasing that performance, they're not chasing bats that are necessarily as durable. For us as consumers, retail customers, you know, you're spending a lot of money, you want your bat to last, so there needs to be some balancing going on, whereas for a pro player it should be about performance only. And that's why I sort of caveat for people, when you're spending a huge amount of money on bats, you're not necessarily getting a more durable bat, you're actually getting a bat that's probably got a shorter lifespan, even though it costs more money. Whereas this is basically like a non-retail bat. This is a, you know, if you were giving Harry Brook, you'd be giving him one of these bats. These are basically priceless. Yeah, you can't find them anywhere for love nor money really, and I think pro players that have them in their dressing rooms aren't going to be handing them over to their teammates very easily. So yeah, it's stunning really to kind of see it in person. Now, how can you get one of these? Well, the reality is that you can't. You won't be able to go into a shop. I don't think you're going to be able to contact Gray-Nicolls and ask for it to kind of be done. That's what makes bats like this that special. You know, I've been at some of the England matches recently. Once I knew I was getting this bat and sort of zoomed in on photographs and with the video, as Brook's sort of gone past, I've seen some of his bats before and held them. But just looking at his current shape, this looks exactly the same as what I've seen from his. It's this bit that sort of gives it away. All this other stuff here is by the by. It's full, it's massive, it's light, but that's the bit of shaping that I noticed. I'm obviously a nosy bugger and interested in seeing what all the players are using, but this does look very much like his shape. aside from the fact that they're super busy, Alex is super busy, so we're really lucky to have got this one in. But this bat isn't being kept by us, it's actually going to support a teammate, Monty Douglas. He's been playing England over 60s. I think he scored, what, 3 or 4 consecutive hundreds in the World Cup in the West Indies previously. So England over 60s are going to Australia. They're playing 5 ODIs and then I think 8 or 9 state games. It's really, really expensive. It's going to cost him £6,500. So we've got this bat in to basically help him raise money. So he's got a GoFundMe. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for him, you know, playing against Australia in Australia. So we really want to help him. If you've ever wanted a pro bat, if you love Harry Brook and you've wanted one of those, if you want to see what this kind of bat is like, and you know, and how much better it can make you as a player, I think, you know, I always talk about bats being a 1% thing, but I think in the case of club players, it's probably more like 5 to 10%. I think it does definitely gives you a huge amount of confidence and helps you to, you know, get it over the infield. That races away for 4 instead of getting caught. Yeah, if it gives you that belief, then that's all really you want from a bat. So yeah, absolutely stunning, and you have a chance to win it. So I'm really gutted actually that this is going into a raffle. I know it is to benefit Monty, but it's not every day you get to come across bats like this unless you're in a pro's dressing room. I've been lucky this season actually. I've been in a lot of them and nosing around and seeing the special bats that people have got, but this one is, you know, superb. I'm still not sold 100% on the amount of duckbill at the bottom, but that's a player preference as opposed to I think the brands wanting to kind of do that necessarily. If you go to our Instagram page, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see the link in our bio. Basically you can enter the raffle there. I'll probably post it in some of our stories over the next couple of weeks. And yeah, you can, you know, help Monty fulfill his dream of being able to play in Australia for England, and you have a chance to end up with this made to Harry Brook spec. Tiny little blemish there, but super straight grains. I'm always about the straight grains, and you look at that going straight through the toe. That's perfect, having them straight like that. Helps with the durability as well. But you're talking about a stunning piece of wood, a super light piece of wood, a massive shape. Love the handle on this. A lot of people, you know, have preferences over hand, but that's just a lovely feel. Proper oval in the bottom hand and a little bit of oval going into round here in the top hand. Light as a feather. One of the biggest attributes I like about Alex's bats, pressing is just perfection, and I can see why so many players are shooting for these Gray-Nicolls on the pro scene there. Is that I just think his pressing is just, yeah, it's unreal how good it is. So probably the most important thing really, press to perfection. It's all about the ping. Yeah, really nice bat.
Harry Brooks 50 from 39 balls with 2 4s and 5 6s.
This is the kind of bat where everybody's going to be going wow in the dressing room if they see it. Everybody's going to want one of these, and well, there's just one of these here, and I don't think it's going to be that easy for you to get hold of another one. So if you love Gray-Nicolls, if you love Harry Brook, if you love pro players bats, then yeah, this is a genuine article that's come from Gray-Nicolls, and yeah, enter the raffle and support Monty. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching this. Hopefully now we've got to winter, I can post up a lot of the videos. If you've got any videos for products you want to see, we might already have them in. We probably have actually. Yeah, we'll try and get those up. Also some player interviews that you might be interested in seeing. I'll try and post some of those up. Yeah, take care guys, and we'll see you in another video soon.